Good afternoon, everybody. Pigskin Pete here. Happy Wednesday to everybody. Today I'm going to do a video based on, probably a short video, based on what everyone's talking about as far as the rankings that came out last night. There's really only one really major question that everybody is asking, provided that Alabama wins. Now, this is a big if. Alabama's not given, a spot if they don't win, despite what people may think. But provided Alabama wins, provided Clemson wins, and of course we all already think that Notre Dame is a shoo-in, despite the fact that they don't have a conference championship. They're 12-0 and they're getting in the playoffs. So you can love it, hate it, cry about it, whatever you got to do. That's fine with me. But that leaves a fourth spot because Georgia will be knocked out provided that Alabama wins. Who's going to get that spot? Ohio State or Oklahoma if they win their championship games, which both of them will be favored. Now, we did see Oklahoma already lose to Texas earlier this year. I don't expect that to happen again. If you're an Ohio State fan, you want Oklahoma to lose. You are a Texas fan this week because if Texas beats Oklahoma, that opens the door wide open for Ohio State to get in there. But the question that everybody's asking is, which team deserves to be in the playoffs in that fourth spot, provided that everything I just said was going to happen happens? Should it be Oklahoma or should it be Ohio State? This is where it gets real tricky. You start comparing resumes. You start comparing wins and losses. You start looking at all the metrics of defensive points allowed, offensive points scored, strength of schedule, strength of record. I mean, the list goes on and on. You can look at every metric you want to look at. But at the end of the day, it's going to come down to the eye test. And it's also going to come down to, in my opinion, not only who have you beat, because they've both beaten some good teams. I mean, hell, we just saw Ohio State blow out the number 4 team in the country in Michigan. But who did you lose to and how did you lose? I think that's more important than wins. And the reason I think it's more important than wins is because we've already seen this. We've seen this movie before. We saw this movie last year with Ohio State. They got, drubbed on the road against Iowa. 55 points they gave up. Got left out of the playoffs. And instead, a one-loss Alabama non-divisional champ, forget non-conference, non-divisional champ got in ahead of them. So if you look at the both sides of the ball for both these teams, you could say these are two elite offenses. Ohio State's got a Heisman candidate quarterback. They score a lot of points no matter who they're playing. Oklahoma, arguably the best offense in the country with another Heisman candidate quarterback. So, sort of splitting hairs as far as the offense goes. Now, you can make the argument for Ohio State's sake that they played much better defenses throughout the year than Oklahoma has, so Oklahoma might be padding their stats offensively a little bit more than Ohio State is. I'm okay with that. I think that even Oklahoma and Big 12 fans would tell you that. Now you flip it to the defensive side of the ball. Ohio State's defense is massively underwhelming compared to what we thought they were coming into the season. Now, if you're going to make the argument on the offensive side of the ball that Oklahoma hasn't faced any good defenses all year in the Big 12, you've got to afford that same exact standard to the offenses in the Big 10 that Ohio State's defense has faced all year. It's only fair. So, what we have here is a wash. The only thing that separates these two teams, being that they both have one loss, is that loss. And Oklahoma's loss was a very close contested game against a rival team in Texas, in a rivalry game. Ohio State's loss was an embarrassing blowout loss to an average Purdue team who ran the football down their throat for 60 minutes in front of the whole country. Now, if you're going to sit here and ask me, Pigskin Pete, or ask anybody, Who do I think would win on a neutral field between Oklahoma and Ohio State? I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine. I think it'd probably be a good game. But that also depends on which Ohio State team actually shows up to play. Because you can nitpick at Oklahoma's defense being terrible and how great their offense is, and said that they can't stop anybody. Hell, Syracuse scored 70 on them if they wanted to. But the one thing you've got to give Oklahoma credit for is if nothing else, we know who they are, and they're consistent. They're consistently great on offense, and they're consistently terrible on defense. But we know that. They've been the same Oklahoma team every single week for 12 weeks. Ohio State, you can't say that about Ohio State. One week, Ohio State looks like the best team in the country. The next week, they look like they're not even belonging in the top 40. The week they played Purdue, the week they played Maryland. Didn't they struggle against Nebraska too? Ohio State has all the talent and all of the tools to compete with anybody in America, but you just never know what you're going to get with Ohio State. Plus, I think that the committee agrees with me because they have Oklahoma ranked one space higher than Ohio State does right now. You'd have to have some sort of some weird stuff happen. If they both won their games, if Ohio State beats Northwestern, wins the Big Ten, Oklahoma beats Texas, wins the Big 12, they both have one loss. The only way you're going to see Ohio State jump over Oklahoma is if Ohio State just obliterates Northwestern 59-0, and Oklahoma goes to 3 overtimes with Texas, or something along those lines. Even in that scenario, I'm not sure they would get jumped. But I don't know. That's it. No trash talking today. I'm trying to be as objective as I can. I know that my trash talking sometimes hurts your little baby ears based on the comments I get. Ooh, I'm unsubscribing. Big Kid Pete said something bad about my team. I thought you were good for 2 weeks, and then you said something mean about my team. And this isn't like 15-year-old kids saying this stuff. This is like 30, 40, 50-year-old men crying to me about how I said something bad about their team. You're not objective. No. Listen, if you can't tell the difference between me trolling you and trash talking you and me being objective, that's a you problem, not a me problem. Sorry. Get over it. Go watch Skip Bayless. Or something. I don't even know. Hell, he even talks trash. I mean, you can't go anywhere these days without people talking trash. It is what it is. But I'll see you guys on Thursday. Have a great day.